Hello and welcome! Silrace here with Mechwarrior Online. I want to talk about why I still brawl in this game. Why I play brawling, bells and setups and max. Background footage, some Kodiak 5 gameplay with a brawler setup, just there for your distraction while I talk about this stuff. Now, obviously, if you're honest with yourself and you actually care about competition, you know, you want to win and stuff, then you have to admit that the long-range setups are really strong and good in the game at this point. Gauss rifles, PPCs, ultra AC builds, even laser vomit is still workable, very much workable. And all of those can do their work at both brawl ranges and from long ranges. Of course, they are typically better off doing it from longer ranges in case of gauss rifles and PPCs because of the long cooldowns, but they can still work at shorter ranges. Brawling, on the other hand, while it can be much stronger, it is less consistent because it requires, well, interaction between your team and enemy team. It requires map positioning in such a way as to make it work, and so forth. It requires, let's say there are more variables to making brawling work for you than there is for making a long-range build work for you. For a long-range build, all you have to do is see the enemy in the distance, have it within your weapon's reach, and fire at it. With a brawling setup, when you have short-range weapons, you have to actually cover the distance to the enemy somehow as well, before you can start dealing your damage, dealing, you know, the killing blow to their mech, by poking outside of your cockpit and shooting the pilot of their, you know, mech, whatnot. Anyway. Now, why do I play brawlers then? Personally, I find, well, this is personal evidence from just playing the game, there is no numbers to really back this up, but I find these days players are so used to their long-range engagements, their poke games around the corners with laser vomits or with UACs or with gauss rifles and PPCs, that as soon as somebody gets in their face, in that brawling range, they start making very silly mistakes. I come across this all the damn time when I play my brawler setups. I catch somebody who is equipped with a mid-range, long-range setup, and as soon as I am in their face, they start making very strange movements and whatnot because they are not used to the brawling game. They get confused, they don't know exactly how to deal with the situation and so forth, whereas I, as somebody who has always loved shorter range engagements, I am familiar with most of these setups and situations I'm coming into. So I don't necessarily make all the same mistakes. Of course I make some anyway, because everybody makes mistakes and make poor decisions and whatnot in every situation. However, I make less of them, and so usually I come out on top. Even against other brawlers, some of the time as well. Now, another thing I find brawling is really good for is because right now I don't have a lot of time to play the game. I play sporadically when I find the time. For example, I have a day to play, then I play like 10-15 games, and then I might not play for the next like 5 or 6 days at all. And so, brawling keeps me familiar with the maps. I have to traverse the map, I have to keep walking around the map. I remember all the nooks and crannies, from which place I get to where are all the highways I can take, all the tunnels I can take, all of these things. As long as I play brawlers, I am familiar with the map. I learn the maps. With long-range setups you can ignore certain parts of the maps or how certain, you know, what goes where and where is all the nooks and crannies and other hidey holes. You can do that with long-range setups. You can't do that with a brawler. So there is that. Those are the main two reasons right now I play a whole lot of brawlers, but also I find brawling simply fun. I find it pays off. Granted, I'll die a whole lot, so if you care about your kill-death ratios and all that stuff, you don't ever brawl in this game. You just play your long-range setups and you try to rack up the kills and whatnot. However, brawlers are really good at finishing games. When the long-range setups have been trading fire for the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes of a game, and then a fresh brawler wanders in and finishes off all the near-dead mechs, that's where the brawler really wins the games. It does even happen quite often where you can get yourself into these situations. Granted, you don't want to hide, you do want to share armor with the rest of your team a little bit at least before that time, and you want to use your weapons whenever you can to actually help your team win the fight and game, but it does get to those points surprisingly often, which I find awesomely fun. And another thing you can do with brawls, especially on big brawlers like Kodiaks and Atlases and some such, you can simply get the team to follow you in. If you are familiar with maps, if you are familiar with brawling and so on, you know where to go, when to go there, and which route to take to get there. And so you can definitely lead strong game-winning pushes all the time. Granted, you probably die doing it. I do die all the time in my brawlers, especially if I'm leading the charge like that. However, you probably end up winning the game overall. And if that's what you care about, if you care about winning and not, you know, personal KD and such, then yeah, that might be something you should maybe look into. Anyway, I think I am done talking about this subject for the moment. Maybe if there is more questions, I'll give tips and hints on how to brawl if people really want to hear. Thank you very much for watching, and this is basically why I still play brawlers in this game, because I find it fun. Right? And fun is the most important thing when you play, huh? And the other reasons as well. Thank you very much for watching.